Fans became familiar with you as a contestant on Jermaine Dupri's Lifetime rap competition series, The Rap Game. But the world came to know you after the release of your breakout 2019 single, Needed Me. The
Hmm.
official music video currently sits at 143 million views, and your career has consistently been rising since then. Today, you're a
Thank
platinum selling artist. You're very welcome. You're a platinum selling artist at 21 years old. How does it feel?
Sometimes I'm still embracing it, you know. God has his funny ways of still like hitting me with little glimpses of reality. Like for me it was kind of how you mentioned it, how you saw me on tour. Like that's how I got to really see it. It didn't really hit me till I went to Europe. And I'm in Ireland and I got people stopping me in the street. I'm like, yo, they know Jay out here? Like, oh, we global now. It's over. So that's really like this tour has been a whole experience and one for me. When I go on tour, it's like it's like a different, you know, like my reality becomes different. Like this is my reality, being on the road, seeing fans, going to the different edges of the world that you didn't think you would go. Like I got stories for days. It's crazy.
Your breakout single arrived in 2019, just ahead of the COVID-19 pandemic, which would have been an extremely challenging thing for any other new artist or newer artist to withstand,
Yeah.
not being able to do live performances, appearances, things like that. But you excelled during that time, building your fan base to reach millions of people. Why do you think that is?
I feel like the world has their frequency and they choose when they want to tap in. Like you said, you it's funny because the rap game was in Atlanta, so I had the chance to get to be in Buckhead to shoot that, and I thought that was my glimpse of it. You know, like I thought that would be like my peak. I didn't know what was coming for Ji, and I still don't know what's coming for me. Like you might see me in a movie next year. You never know what's planned. You know, but I'm thankful for it. And like you said, during COVID, it was so challenging because the whole world had to brace for that. We didn't really know what COVID was. We never went through that. We didn't know what that was. So I didn't know what the outcome would be. I didn't know what the frequency would be. If people would still be, you know, if they still wanted to listen to what I had to say. So you put it on the you put the icing on the cake crazy. I didn't even look at it like that. Like I kind of had a bunch of odds stacked up against me, and any artist that came on at that time, they could admit that it was kind of hard, you know. But once COVID lifted, it was a wrap. Like there was no holding us back. We was outside.
Your discography now features 5 EPs that each display your ability to blend and showcase R&B, hip hop, and reggaeton in a style that's all your own. For me, I can honestly say that from the first time I heard your music, you didn't sound like any other artist I've ever heard before, and you
Wow.
still don't. To me, that can be a very challenging thing in today's age of music. How are you able to consistently stay true to yourself and your sound?
Wow. It's funny you mentioned that because I was just having a conversation yesterday with my engineer. Especially with the sound that's coming out of New York. It's not really too hard to stay true to my sound because it's like I always remember who I look up to, and my idols never change. Like for me, it was Big Pun, it was Jade. Those were like the people I was going to for bars, like on a daily basis. You know, so for me, it's like I don't know. I just get a kick out of doing that. You know, out of talking. I feel like the younger cats, they in a different age where they getting their point across different. Like in New York, you see the drill, so they coming at you with beefing, this in your block, or they coming at you with some melodic shit, you know. And I feel like the lane is open to whoever wants to grab it. Like, I I love seeing new faces come out, but for me, it's just like I got an old soul in me, you know. Like I always gotta. Even now, when we get off the phone, I'm probably gonna throw on some Jadakiss. I'm probably gonna throw on some Beanie Siegel. You feel me? Like that's just who I am. It's in me. So I'm always gonna bring that, especially with my roots too, being Puerto Rican. That definitely shaped me and kind of like it navigated me easier towards what I really wanted. Because it's I gotta go back to the roots.
Throughout your discography, you've also used, well, you haven't been afraid to use samples from Jay-Z and Maya's Best of Me Part 2, TOK's Footprints on When You Cry. You use
Yeah.
Beautiful Girls, Sean Kingston. You just sampled 112's It's Over Now on It's Officially Done. But you never over sample. You always do just the perfect amount with every release, you know? And I think your ability and willingness just to sample these tracks, these classic tracks that have such a legendary stature behind them and place in the culture, I think your ability to do that just speaks volumes to your creativity. Can
Thank
you
you.
explain why you've always been, you're welcome. Can you explain why you've always been open to using samples in your music?
This is like it's funny because if you like if you know me personally, the samples that I pick and choose are kind of like records that like I hold close to my heart. Like the Best of Me record, that's like a New York anthem. Like that's like summertime. I think of summertime, we outside, a white Air Force jumpsuit on, and we just barbecuing. You feel me? Like these is records that I grew up on, and I have no shame in sampling them. And if you notice it, a lot of them are old school New York samples. Like I try to dig deep, like in the roots, because that's where I'm from. Like my whole environment kind of like navigated this, but I don't know. I was never really scared to sample anything. I've never really, had no shame towards doing it. I have fun doing it, being able to flip an old school record and then have people like you tell me I did it right. That means a lot to me, honestly.
Yes, yes. So, there's been like this trend, or I don't know if we can even call it a trend, but some of the younger artists have become comfortable with saying that they aren't familiar with OGs like Tupac and Biggie. They've never listened to their music before. Can you explain from your perspective, because you have such a respect for, classic artists and 90s artists and things like that, why it's important for newer, younger artists to also be familiar with the people that came before them?
With me, my whole thing is like in anything you do, you don't have to like you have your own taste and you're obligated to have your own taste, but the respect to know who came before you should always be there. Like it's up to you to study if you want to do the research. Like if you're a Zion coming into the NBA, you got to show love to MJ, you got to show love to Kobe. The respect is always there. So for me it's like, and then I grew up in the heart of hip hop, like where it originated. So for me it's kind of like I did not, for one, like, I mean, I was on the TV show I was on was kind of crazy because JD is stuck, like not stuck, but his mindset is the 90s. Like, so he got us jumping on TV tracks. We not even like, he's an old school, like his soul is straight out the gate. Like, and I'm kind of glad I went through that boot camp because it kind of like, it made me uncomfortable, and that's a good thing. I say that in a good way because a lot of people they blow up and they get comfortable. So I always try to be uncomfortable so I never feel comfortable, and I never sit back and I'm like, yeah, this is my spot. I never want to, even now I feel like I got so much work to do and so much to prove. Like I don't know, I feel like I'm 3 to 4 years in my career and I still got so much to prove to the world and I still got so much to say. So not to get off track, but you feel me? Like there's still more for me to do and prove.
Most recently, you dropped your latest project, One Way or Another. You embarked on a tour in the UK, like you said, as well as a multinational tour with A Boogie and Lola Brooke. If there's one thing about it, as a newer artist, you can definitely tell, or anyone can definitely tell, that you're dedicated to your craft and you're consistent with what you're doing, right? What advice have you received from your peers or just from observing the artists and how they move around you that like you hold close when you think about how you want your career to go and what business moves you want to be a part of and not be a part of?
Yeah. Um, well, I look at Boogie, for example. We almost probably, while I was on the rap game, he was like blowing up for the first time. This was 2016. We in 2023, almost 10 years later. And I get to see it for myself. Like, damn, so this is what almost 10 years later into your career looks like. He's selling out. We in Toronto selling out stadiums. Like, we in Drake City selling out stadiums. So it's crazy because I'm sitting back and I'm a fan of Boogie. Like before me being a peer, because now I get to be a peer. I was a fan before anything. You feel me? I was on the rap game listening to him and Young and May while they was coming out. That I remember it was them two. And now that I get to tour with him, I embrace every moment of it. You feel me? Because he didn't bring everybody with him on this tour. He chose me and Lola Brooks. So I'm embracing everything. I'm watching how he moves. He's humble too in his own way. He got his I just respect everything. Even his family became a family to me. You feel me? Like we got that mutual respect. So it's a great experience, and I'm just happy to be a part of it for real.
Yeah, you guys look like you were having so much fun when you performed R&B shit. Like
Yeah,
it just was a fun time, like you said, and just being able to watch him as he's been here for so long in the game and perform those hits after hits, and the crowd is just taken by that. But for you to also come on stage and you get that same reception as well, even not even being in New York, you were in Atlanta and the crowd was still just as happy to see you. I think that that speaks volumes.
yeah, and amen to that. Power to the people, man. I never forget like who kind of like they the fans put the battery in my back, you know, like so I owe it to them, I owe it to you guys, the people that listen. Like that shit mean a lot to me. I don't take it for granted. It don't matter like I'll come on stage and I like it don't matter how bad. There's times I don't come on stage and my day's going good. I could be having the worst day. Like I remember when I went to Scotland that day, I ended up missing my set. I got arrested in Ireland. It was crazy. There was a lot going on that day, but I ended up making R&B shit. But they had to push it back, and I'm just like, damn, like that's crazy. But one thing about it, like fresh out the airplane, I'm in the airport for 12 hours. I go straight on stage and I come off and I'm like, all right, like whatever feels like 10 minutes to me might feel like 20 minutes to a fan. And then for them, it's like they never forget this moment. The conversation. I got fans in London getting my name tattooed on their arm. Like that's crazy. Like the next day too, and they telling me I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm like, all right, we're gonna see. And they actually doing it. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. So this, I mean, this really means a lot to me. I'm embracing every moment of it that I can. You feel me? While I can.
Yeah. You have so much more music and big announcements set for this year. Is there anything exclusive that you like to share with the TSR audience? Maybe
Yeah.
like a debut album, you know?
Um, well, I can say this. While I was on tour with Boogie, I recorded over 30 songs. Like not no cap. Like we going crazy. So we definitely have my next project in the works. Hopefully top of the summer or beginning of the summer we could release it. I'm just all about being consistent this year. We independent, so there was nothing really ever holding me back, and now there's nothing really holding me back. So the whole goal is to be consistent and just give the people what they want, music.
Does that mean that we're gonna get a official debut album soon? Or what do you
Damn.
think?
Um, I think it's time to work towards that, honestly. I'm like 6, 7 projects in. I think I might probably come with one more project before the debut. And then I don't know why I'm delaying the debut. I'm playing. I'm gonna be honest. But I feel like I'm just prepping it for when I feel like the timing is right. I don't want to overthink it too. You feel me? The
Right.
music that I am giving you guys is album worthy music, regardless if it's an EP, if it's a mixtape. I'm gonna always try to like, put in that effort. But I think this next project, after this next project, the debut album will come.
So I know your fans are gonna be super excited for that. So you have a quote, so many artists come and go. I want to be here forever. What does longevity look like to you?
Wow. Time, time being put in, consistency. When I think of longevity, I think of like honestly, my perfect ideal of like my perfect vision of longevity is Jackson 5. How they and it's kind of funny because I kind of got a glimpse of it. I'm a kid. I can't compare it because they out the gate like they had it. And Michael Jackson is Michael Jackson. There will never be another. But to put it into perspective, I look at them as an example, a perfect example. Himself, longevity. He came out as a kid. He was able to tour as a child and continue as an adult, to impact the world and set his milestones. So that's what I look at. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to be able to work towards. You feel me? That's kind of like, and this, I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to be a child and kind of get that limelight. You feel me? Like you said, I was on TV at 14 and then 18, 19, I'm over here with a breakout hit. Like I had to brace for that. I didn't really know what was coming.
Right. Yeah, well, I'm excited for you, super excited just to see what's ahead. And I appreciate you taking the time to speak with us.
Of course, thank you.